Alright, so we're getting ready to start here in just a second, as soon as we go live. And are we live yet? We are live. Alright. Welcome back to WMMA now with your host Chuck Stevenson coming at you, doing a quick initial reaction to UFC Uruguay in Montevideo. So let's start off. It's an okay night of fights. A lot better than I thought it would be overall. The entire event was better than I initially thought it would be. But nothing really, super right home about. Like Perry's nose is now in like 3 different places. It starts here, then goes to here, and then now ends here. Or actually goes to the right side, whatever. As far as the ladies' fights go, first up was Polyana Viana coming in, late notice, replacing Rachel Ostovich versus Veronica Macedo. Macedo pulling out first round armbar victory. Did not see that one happening. I picked Viana to win based on being able to just bully Macedo around. Macedo's undersized even at flyweight, but it seems like finding a good camp for her has actually paid off. It looked like she was going to get bullied. She kind of got bullied down to the ground a little bit, and then she managed to pull off that armbar, and it was tight. And I mean, Viana really had to scream to get the ref to notice and stop the fight. So congrats to Veronica Macedo, her first UFC win. I picked Viana. I thought this was Macedo's UFC swan song. I was wrong. So good for Veronica Macedo. I hate picking wrong, but I'm not disappointed in this one. Next up was Tecia Torres versus Marina Rodriguez. So what you had was this is basically Torres taking on someone she couldn't outstrike in spite of, at all, period. Usually the height and reach disadvantage never bothers Torres. This time it really affected her. She was just not able to get in and strike and land on Rodriguez the way that she wanted to. She was being picked apart on the outside too much, and when she went inside to the clinch, she was getting kneed. She ate a lot of knees, ate some nasty elbows. I would say that this fight was also a very good example of someone who's well-versed has a good Muay Thai background or fairly decent Muay Thai background and skills versus someone who comes from a point fighting karate / basic kickboxing background. Rodriguez just had more skills overall and add in that height and reach advantage, and it was just not a good night for Torres. That's 4 straight losses in a row. One more fight and she might be out of the UFC. One more loss. I mean, if she loses 5 in a row, you got to think she's going to be gone. Here's the thing though. With Torres, before tonight, she had never lost to anybody outside of the top 5, really. Her first professional loss was to... I don't remember them all, but they were all top fighters. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Andrade, Rose, and Rodriguez. Yeah, who was the 4th? I can't think of the 4th. But yeah, she only loses really, before tonight, she's only lost to top fighters. I think it says more about the fact that she has, fought stellar, top-notch competition the entirety of her UFC career, pretty much. She had that initial fight with Angela Hill, but after that, she was mostly fighting very good competition. She's fought the current champ, 2 former champs. Who else? Rodriguez. I can't think of that 4th loss. It's going to kill me until I remember it when I'm talking about something else. But big win for Marina Rodriguez. She's going to climb up the rankings now. Very nice win for the Contender Series alone. And then finally you get to the stinker of a main event. Like I said in my weekly stream on Wednesday, which was served as a preview for this event, I didn't give Liz Carmouche a chance, and she had literally zero chance throughout this fight. The first 2 rounds were completely uneventful. Third round, Liz didn't land a single significant strike. I think that's when the fight finally started to go to the ground, was in the third round. And then the fourth and fifth was just Valentina outstyling her, outskilled her, outstruck her, beat her on the ground. The most Liz Carmouche could do on the ground when it got there was sit in her guard and basically pull her leg up to Valentina's head for the rubber guard. I mean, it was just, Liz Carmouche had no chance. And honestly, this fight to me was just absolutely boring. You know, I respect Valentina Shevchenko's skills. I mean, she is one of the most well-rounded fighters in mixed martial arts. Women or men, she's one of the most well-rounded fighters. But she's a counter fighter. And as much as I can respect the immense skill it takes to be an effective counter fighter, as good as she is, I'm never going to be a fan of that style, because to me, you're basically relying on the other fighter to do something for you to then take advantage of it. And if you're the type of fighter that Valentina is, where she basically never changes up her game plan, no matter how inactive the opponent is, it's going to make for a boring fight every time. Okay, a classic example would be Anderson Silva versus Damian Maia. That was another boring main event of a striker versus a grappler, a counter striker versus a primary grappler. Or, man, another fight where basically it was the same thing was Woodley versus Maia again. That fight was boring as hell because it was someone relying on, Woodley basically relying on Damian Maia to do something and then not really doing anything himself. Yeah. Valentina is just in general, not an exciting fighter. If you need someone on the skill level of Priscilla Cachoeira, who will never amount to anything in MMA from what I can see, or Jessica Ai, who was only good in a few fights throughout her entire career, to be an exciting fighter or to get exciting wins, you're just not an exciting fighter, period. I mean, look, like I said, I respect her skills immensely. But she's not an exciting fighter, and no one's going to convince me that she is, in general, an exciting fighter, because she basically relies on her opponents to come at her, and so she can take advantage of their mistakes. To me, that's just not exciting. I mean, look, I like watching good technical fights, but only when, both fighters are really trying to do something or make something happen. If you're, and in this fight, Liz Carmouche wasn't really trying to do anything. And, I don't understand what her team's game plan was. I guess to try to get the takedown, which she failed at every time. She went back to her corner, and her one coach, what's his name, Boogeyman from 10th Planet, was like, oh, good, sticking to the game plan, game plan's coming along good. What was the freaking game plan other than trying to hope to get a takedown and get on top? Okay, obviously that game plan wasn't working, so you need a plan B. And another thing, Liz Carmouche was going up against the most skilled striker in her division, one of the most skilled strikers in the UFC, period. Where was her striking coach? Maybe the third guy was, but she had Boogie, who is a grappler. He's a pure grappler. And then you had Elimele McFarlane in her corner. Elimele's a grappler, okay? Her striking is very rudimentary. So unless that third guy was a striking coach who wasn't really saying anything in the corner, what was she doing with that corner? I just don't understand that. It's like when that 10th Planet San Diego team is a good team for primary grapplers, but they need to bring in a good striking coach ASAP. I mean ASAP, because nobody coming out of that team, at least on the ladies' side that I've seen, I don't know what men they have. None of those ladies are good strikers. I mean, they're competent enough, but they're just not. I mean, that's why it made me mad when like Kaneko Murata went there to train with them. It's like, okay, you're already a good grappler. Why are you going to train with other good grapplers? You need to focus on your striking. Anyway, so I don't know. It was just a crap fight. It was a garbage fight. It was not exciting in the least. Didn't really get to see half of what I think Shevchenko is capable of. And Carmouche just stunk up the place again. She's just not a boring fighter. Honestly, I didn't expect an exciting fight out of this, to be honest. It kind of turned out exactly what I was expected, so I don't know why I'm like being so hard on it, because I went in there with low expectations. I should be satisfied that it met my expectations, but otherwise, there'd be no point for this video otherwise. Yeah, so Liz Carmouche is boring. Shevchenko is generally boring and unexciting. You got a boring main event. That's really all there is to say about it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about the fight and really all three fights in the comments down below. Likes always appreciated. And what are you waiting for? Subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the best, fastest growing women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. And have a good night, guys.